Got to get that. What's it called, Tim? Is it D something?
Yes, that's right, Gerald. I'm just looking up. Wool handlers, you are to press the button on the stands. Shearers, not to press the button. It's the wool handlers. Okay, here we go. We got one more fleece coming off for Team West Coast on table one. We got one of the Pritchard girls as he turns and throws. Lovely job. Down there on table number 4, that's a nice fleece down there. Not a lot of work in that one. We got Logan Carmody. He's got the brim in hand. There's not going to be a lot left to clean up once they've finished.
And Naira does a brilliant throw there, clearing the throat tumor. Naira's going to work. Logan says it's shakedown time, not with the fleece. Oh no, that's a full wool. You don't shake them down, they go across the table, but he's shaking the second pieces down. Take note of that, the other teams. Still, the South Island still got some wool to come off, and so's the East Coast. Come on, South Island. On to broom one goes. Back to the shearer. All this looking and thinking. The peripheral vision that's required when you're a wool handler. You've got to have eyes in the back of your head to know what the shearers are doing. The shearers have got in a day-to-day shearing system. Oh, look, the West Coast has gone crazy. The Rousey, the wool handlers up there, and the people take the time. Beautiful. How are the board points going? Well, the board points are really good too. Wow. 33 and a 32. The heat is on. All right, Sarah. Bit of bunching, but that's okay. We'll take that. Go to work. Come on, you South Island. Get that fleece off there. Get it nice and rolled up, nice and tight and in the bag. East Coast. Out to the toenails they go. Once again, thank you to our sponsor, Cooper's Proven. Animal Health Remedies, finishing touches, the board is clear. Now it's down to the wool handlers. South Island team, rattle your dags. Come on, let's go. Come on, Masterton. You've had a cup of coffee, I'm sure. What's the time? Well, it's blimmin' 10 to 10. You've had a couple of cups. Go, Sarah. Get that sorted up. Sam's on the broom, she says, right. I hear the shaking down the little second pieces. Are we going to do the same, or are we happy? Down they get, sort all these baskets up. There's a reason for them. We don't just go and tip them all together later on. There is a reason for 6 or 7 or 8 lines. That's the South Island team. They're wrapped up now. East Coast.
Come on, East Coast. Kia tiri. Get up on the board, that's it.
What? There's the South Island. Oh, yeah, that's stopped. Beautiful.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the Young Farmers Teams event. We'll just, we've got to move the tables and stuff. There's going to be a little bit of moving around. We've got to take the tables off the board because we'll be rolling on with the Blue Ribbon event. We'll see a bit of wool fly, Morgan.
Yeah, we're going to see a bit of pace here, Tomo. Heat 1 of our Young Farmers Blue Ribbon. Stand 1, Lionel Taumata. 2, Laura Bradley. 3, Tegwin Bradley. 4, Ricky Stevens. 5, Sean Gauk. And 6, Sarah Higgins. Heat 2, Jimmy Samuels, Jack Fagan, Floyd Neal, Turi Edmonds, Ethan Pankhurst, and Brett Roberts. Just hang on, guys. We're just going to do get rid of the tables and get some fadges out and stuff.
Well, Gerald, we've had a pretty action-packed morning. It's been an awesome morning. We've had a lot of events this morning. We've had the Open Wool Handling quarterfinals this morning, first thing. Joel Hennard, he's really stomping his mark. Like, we had the pre-share show on the Wednesday, and Logan Carmody won that one. Joel, I think, was 3rd. And everyone was like, ooh, what's wrong with Joel? And I was talking to Joel this morning, and he's not working in the sheds anymore. He's working in the fisheries. It does night shift in the fisheries. and then I think he's doing a bit of fruit picking through the day. He reckons, you know, it's a change of scenery, but, you know, he's loving the consistent money, you know, like he can budget himself a bit better than when he's in the sheds.
Yeah, that's right. He's up at Motueka now, so yeah, he's travelled, you know, originally Gisborne, and then he was down in Dunedin for a couple, 3 years there, and now, yeah, I heard the same story and read the same story that he's gone into that side. But of course, sometimes when you're doing the same old, especially and probably people here won't realise the commitment to those top wool handlers and those top shearers. You talk about, you know, ear points. They are on planes and living in backpacks and suitcases 6 months of the year. It's if you talk to a lot of them, they'll say it's a very selfish thing because they're away on their own all the time chasing these shows. And Joel's no different, and they are away representing New Zealand. They're away overseas, doing that part as well and representing the North Island. So as I'm saying, they're away a lot. And obviously he's decided that, look, he just needs a bit of a change. He's still very young. I think Joel might be just still around that 26 years of age. So one of the youngest world champion wool handlers that's taken the stage. But of course, a lot of them have still, a bit like shearing a sheep, once your hand touches the handpiece, and we saw it with Coro Mullins in the veterans last night, it just sort of knows where it's supposed to go and do its little things. So Joel's no different, and we've got lots of very top wool hands that stay very competitive at the top of their game in the shows. Cherie Alabaster is one. She is I think she's a full-time teacher. But she turns up at the shows and still does very, very well. And she's dotted around the stadium right now. But we'll get to see Joel later on. Of course, he's already won the best quality points. He won that last year, and he's won it again this year, and he's won the Open here 5 years in a row. And I did say he is just around 26 years of age. Yes, that was within a few months. That's pretty correct. Right, so this is the other part of the young farmers. We're just having a bit of a changeover. This is the individual shearing now. Of course, once upon a time, how did you get into a farm? Most people shore their way into a farm. A lot of farmers shore their way. It was a supplement income to support the bank and the debt that's required to go farming. And most farmers and farmers' sons and daughters knew how to push a handpiece, whether it be dagging the lambs or the ewes through the easy crutch, and eventually, you know, you become shearers. So my father was a shearer, and he shore his way into a farm, and that my brother was a shearer and I was a shearer, and we shore our ways into farms, and that's how it sort of went. So this is the young farmers and all those clubs. So it's a bit more difficult now. It's just starting to settle. The capital gains that was involved in farming has settled down tremendously, and now the cash flow has to be right. So of course the value of land has dropped quite dramatically in the last while, probably a good 20-odd%. Where for the last probably 10-odd years, with changing in farming practices and the likes, the demand for land was great, and of course the prices went up, and it was going quicker than you could actually sort of catch up while pushing a handpiece every summer you can think of, meaning a summer here in New Zealand, and then of course a summer over in the UK. So it's nothing unnatural for all these shearers and wool handlers to, as soon as the summer's finished in New Zealand, they will be straight on a plane, okay, and straight overseas to the UK, for example, and will be shearing over there within a day and a half. So a day and a half on a plane, back on a board somewhere in Scotland or the UK or Wales. You would have done that too, Mary. I've sort of done a wee bit of it myself. Do the long haul flights. A day and a half later, you're on another shearing board, another summer. Didn't get to play much rugby in those days because you weren't home enough to play rugby. You didn't have many winters.
I think that's the bonus of it, Gerald, is you miss out on the winter.
Yeah, that was the bonus. You did right. Yeah. Yeah, the only downside was the rugby side, because you'd come home and the rugby season was just about wrapped up. But a funny thing, of course, if you can be very, very fit to shear and sheep. Did you play much rugby, Tuma? Because shear and sheep, you'd say, well, I'm a fit as fit, but you're actually mainly fit for shear and sheep. I was a back, and you could, when you started to try to run, even though you're as fit, you just couldn't get moving. Just couldn't. I could touch my toes and put my palms and my hands on the ground, as if to say, really, really fit that way, but couldn't get the legs to get going, to get some speed up. So it'd take you half a season to get organised. So there's a little bit of trivial information, but sometimes quite interesting. And of course, back in the day before that, a good mate of mine, and he is here, he might be in the audience, mate of mine come up from Invercargill yesterday, JJ Kringle. The Golden Shears has invited a lot of people up who've done 40 years service to the shearing and wool handling industry. So they've got them all up here. They're probably just dotted around the place. I don't know if JJ's here. JJ, you here, mate? Not yet. Yeah, so they've got them all here. 40 years of service. That's a lifetime's work, isn't it? So they're just dotted about as well. But in JJ's day, they were real men that had a big desire to shear sheep. When he went over to shear in the UK, it took him 6 weeks on a boat. Up the Panama, down the Suez and the likes. So in our day, Tuma, it was a day and a half and we're up there shearing. Well, JJ was on a boat for 6 weeks, cruising around trying to get to the UK. We're good to go. Are we good? We'll get them. All right, we'll get her underway. Hope you enjoyed those couple of little stories. Right, now this is a two-heat final. Good morning to Norm Haraway. He's joining the commentary box once again here this morning. Good to have you on board again, Norm. Giving up, two-heat final, blue ribbon, highly sought after ribbon from the Golden Shears. Give it up for Sarah Higgins from Marlborough. Come up, Sarah. Stand 6. From Masterton, Sean Gock. Come on up, Sean. Napier, Ricky Stevens. Tegwin Bradley's here from Woodville. Laura Bradley from Woodville. And Lionel Tomata from Gore. Heat 1 that will be remembering this is a two-heat final.
So heat number 1, this is a final, Gerald, is that how it's all working? So it's a two-heat final. The winners will be taken out of these two heats. And this the Cooper's Animal Health sponsored New Zealand Young Farmers Blue Ribbon shearing event. Some very good names, shearing names up here on the stage. Referee, please. Referee.